Hello. I'm gonna check if it's working. Is it working? Oh, it's working. Pretty much. I'm thinking like I don't know, good like could be an hour or two, as long as till it dies out, as long as I can. Yeah. So I don't know if you have the number. I'll post it, but it's 7. Oh, oh, oh. Wait. That's weird. Okay, looks like I'm good. Yeah. So it actually went to my mobile phone hotspot, which wasn't a good connection. I'm gonna type the number in. I think it should be in the title, but I'm just gonna put it in here. Um, yeah. Yeah, so the first question I kind of want to get into, I think it's a very important question, is is why is it negative doubt? Why is it blurred? So basically, at certain like there's kind of like a point where I was just like at a dilemma where I saw I think I saw a segment on Piers Morgan how he actually saw it was like it was almost like you were putting out he was basically interviewing a like a English like a British predator catcher, and he was so what happened was his argument was saying, I'm all for you catching the predators, but if there's a criminal investigation, there's a reason why criminal investigations they keep their information confidential to not mess everything up. And they basically said that you just putting the footage out there could hurt a criminal investigation. So basically, right now it's just trying to play it safe. So basically, it's kind of. But what I also wanted to do was to show the approach that we're taking, so that we can have like a conversation about the approaches to doing these sketches, because I think that's an important thing where we're discussing like how to do it, what not to do. So it's a legal reason. So I don't want like any kind of give the defense attorney any kind of anything about um, you know, suppressing any kind of evidence. That's what it is. It's just to put as much weight into it's increasing the possibilities of getting a conviction as much as possible. And it's already an uphill battle as is to get a conviction. As is. Like there's district attorneys that'll decriminalize child molestation over not taking a catch from a journalist, a predator catcher. That's what we would call it. It's journalism. That's what it is. You know, we're just gathering information. You know, but that's what it is. Negative filter in the video earlier. Yeah, it's always it's kind of the thing I'm gonna stick with, the negative filter, because it's not blurred, and I don't know. It's just kind of, it seemed like the closest thing to putting out just a regular catch without messing with any potential investigation. Because what like the main thing I kind of want to prove, and my associate wants to prove, is uh you know what's review, bro? I don't know what that be. I don't know what that is. Um, but the main thing we're trying to do is we're trying to prove that this can be done in a legitimate way. Because I feel like every single time I see on the news, they're just kind of branded as vigilantes and everything, and as kind of just like almost like a nuisance. And at the end of the day, it's journalism. That's what it is. And there is a precedent of journalism, uh, you know, um, being useful to an investigation. So that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna answer this one. If Oh, actually, I forgot that I can put this here. If I can ask a question here, you're against violence, which I agree with, to accomplish your agenda. But what do you think about the situation when violence occurs by the catchers, like yesterday with DAPS? No, I haven't tried to be about. So here, okay. So here's the thing. I mean, I actually have a lot of respect for DAPS, Dads Against Predators. I mean, I think that because what are they? They're Dads Against Predators. There's nothing really to be like upset about. Um, because I mean, if you see like a pedophile that's there to meet a kid, and I mean, it's understandable, like it's 100% understandable, but it's kind of, but what I'm saying is it would make it so that it wouldn't be any better than what everyone warning against the stuff would be the worst case scenario. So I mean, and if anything, like a lot of catches where they're essentially do like kind of doing things that I would argue would be problematic. That's it. I'm not saying it's like wrong, but it's problematic. Uh, you know, I'd watch. Like it's a good kind of like predators like being dealt with. Like that's good. You know, but it's like literally getting a conviction or anything like that. It's a game in court. It's like it's a point system. You know, it's like defense attorneys can get things off in technicalities. It's just like you got to be careful about how you execute it. So I would just say, all I would say to that is it's just problematic. It's counterproductive as far as dads against predators. It's understandable. Um, Ryan NVCAP. Ryan's a journalist. Oh. But how would like in terms of what though? Because oh yeah, so here's the thing. It's like if you're okay, so a major thing is what you're trying to do when you do a catch is you're trying to get a confession, right? You're trying to get a confession. There's so many questions I want to answer, but it's like you're trying to get a confession. But what won't fly in court is if there's any argument that they were just saying that because they believe they were in danger. And I'm not talking about what on the basis of what you and I would agree with. I'm talking about will happen, the goofy stuff that'll happen in court, and crazy stuff happen in court. Like for one minor technicality, an entire case can be ruined. It's just like it's not the same. It's not based on common sense. It's not. It's a different thing. So you know, it's like if someone's being like hostile, or whatever. I'm just saying it'll hurt the evidence. It'll hurt what you're trying to do. It'll be problematic. Um, Reddit has arrived. Yeah, I mean and like that's the thing. I'd hate to see DAPS face any charges. Like they're seeing a predator about to do what they're gonna do, and then they get a charge. It's almost like, you know, but it's what it is. It's like you can't do that. It's like if we're gonna do this, it's an uphill battle as is. And if anything, we gotta what I kind of want to see put in place is a system where there can be some kind of like compliance, where like some kind of compliance rating, where journalists that choose to do this, journalists that choose to do this, you know, could be could just work with the government. Could just work with like why don't we just why is it that we have a system where we have journalists doing catches, doing stories on online predators, and then the government just fights them? That's not productive. Like, wouldn't it make sense where wouldn't it be more reasonable on both sides where we have something uh, put in place beforehand, and then if you're compliant to that, yeah, you can get a case, you can do it the right way, you can do it legitimately, and you have the right to. Anyone has the right to gather information in a legal, ethical, and voluntary way. No one can tell you that you don't have the right. It's the free press. You have the right to do that. If you're just having a conversation, just gathering information, you have the right to do that. How do you not? You know. Um. So yeah. So it's like if I want to see anything accomplished, it'll be either proving that that can be done a legitimate way and putting some kind of system where it's set up beforehand, where uh, it could just uh, you know, it could just be dealt with where, all right, we have a way of doing this. And if you want to do it effectively, you can do it that way on an agreed standard or not, you know? Uh, this is a good question because Pop Squad has even said that it's not per catch. It's not like every single person he catches that they're just going to get convicted and sent to prison. Now, in my opinion, wrongfully so, but it's like what he's actually arguing is every time it's resulted in an actual proceeding, like an arraignment, an arrest, and it moved forward legally, that evidence, once the ball was rolling, turned into a conviction. So every time there was an arrest or some kind of something for an arraignment or something like that, because a lot of these sketches, it's not like, oh, it's crazy. Like they'll have like a predator about to meet a kid, and the what the system would do is say, okay, and a long time later, you'll be scheduled for an arraignment, and then we'll figure everything out. That's the way it is. But it's like per that happening, and a conviction is kind of the way he's talking about. It's not per catch. So as many catches where the D's will say, I don't like that, right? So then they're just not going to take the case. That's it. And it's like if it's really that much of an issue, where that's the issue, then why wouldn't they just set up a system beforehand? You know? Trying to pick what question I want to answer. It's like a lot of questions. Oh, homeless in America. So, well, I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to pick. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to figure something out. I think because it's like a group of questions that I think are asking the same question, and then, all right. By the way, Holland's still there, so 77428. Well, I don't know if I don't have Do Not Disturb on. Hold on. Yes, well, the number's still there. It's 774-285-1761. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah. So actually, okay. So I want to break down this catch. I'm gonna break down this catch. This is what happened. So me and that other organization, right? where we're actually decoying all day, right? And it sucked because like we actually decoyed all day, right? And then we finally got a predator, right? And then he flaked. So then we actually, I remember, I think we drove like 20 minutes, and then the guy flaked. We showed up for nothing. So then I was literally about to drop that other predator catch organization at, we are like right there too at that person's house. I was gonna drop, uh, I'm trying to like word it, I'll just call it the other predator catcher at his house. We're like right about to, I was like right about to drop him off, right? And then all of a sudden, a predator hits up the decoy, and I wasn't even sure what one, because I wasn't sure if it was I was a decoy or he was a decoy. And then what happened was, you know, it was at a hotel. It was actually at my home city, Marlboro. That's where I'm from, and it was a catch. It was there. So then, I wasn't sure. I didn't know who the decoy was, but then I found out it was me, and it's like, yeah, so you're gonna have a mic here, whatever, and um, so it's kind of like, excited about the catch. Like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get the guy. So then we drive on our way, and you get kind of nerves. Like it's a there's a lot of things that go through your mind. Especially that would have been my second catch. So the first catch was actually that the catch where I was like, it's a serious issue. It's a serious issue. With the camera. That was the first catch I was on. No, the lines have been open forever. They've been open. They're all open. The lines have been open. You can call this number by they're already open. They've been open. But yeah, I don't know. So even text, you can even text. So anyway, so then we're driving to the hotel, and it's kind of clear like I'm getting kind of you know like kind of like I was getting nerves before the catch. No lie, I was. Where I was gonna be like I was gonna talk to him or whatever, the predator, and so then what happens is like how we were operating is how we were operating the catch was I'm an Uber driver, and so my car will literally say Uber and everything, right? So what happened was that other predator catcher made it seem like he was the Uber driver. So it was like kind of the ploy where it would seem like he's a Uber driver and I would be the 14-year-old that would walk out of the car, right? So then we switch because I'm usually driving. We switch and then we pull in and then we see the predator, and literally what happened was I think because like there was kind of a sense that I was kind of getting nervous on the catch, uh, that he just said just ask two questions. So the only real instruction was asking two questions. So then I go in, right, and the predator said he wanted to wait on a to sit on a bench in the lobby of the hotel, and then the second you know it was like, okay, so here's like the setting of the scene. Like I get out, right, and say that's the predator, and some reason like he like shakes my hand or something. Is kind of odd, but and then he's like going in the building, the hotel, and what happens is the predator totally abandoned the plan of sitting in the bench. So he said on the phone like, oh yeah, we're just gonna sit on the bench, just talk, and then like what happened is like I guess I would get the predator to go back outside, and then we would do this thing, and uh you know but what happened was he just like the predator bolted into the elevator, and then just to the room. And like what happened right then, right? The second we were out of the lobby, this is something to understand, is I realized, right? If I had broken if I had broken from the predator, let's say like I ran away, I agree that would have been the safer option. I 100% agree. But if I had, let's say I broke away from the predator, I said, oh no, like that wasn't supposed to happen, right? Oh, do you guys know what I'm talking about? The catch that I'm talking about? I just want to be sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I'll link it. Hold on. All right, so let's see. That's a catch where basically it was this is a backstory. I was with another predator catcher organization, and what happened as a decoy, it was the second catch I was on. I basically went missing, like out of sight, with a predator, and I'm explaining kind of what led to that. So, so yeah, um, so then it's like the second we left the lobby, right, which is like kind of like the public common area, right, of the hotel. At that point, if I had broke from the predator, we did not know the predator's room. We would have lost the predator. We would have lost the catch. Like had I done this, had I actually like like I guess ran away from the predator, there would be no catch. There would be absolutely no catch. So basically, my goal is just to ask the two questions and then figure something out. Like, how do I get this predator to go outside of the hotel and then we do the sting? That was the plan. But it just turned a situation where I'm like, I don't even know how to do this. And then what happened was when I heard the yelling after outside, like when that other predator catcher was looking for me, I thought that was like my cue as like if you've seen To Catch a Predator and you saw where you know you saw where like there's some kind of sound and then uh the decoy says, oh, what's that, and then they go to the sound and then Chris Hansen pops out. I thought it was something like that going on. So then I go to the door and I'm like trying to signal him, like what do I do, what the hell, you know so that's what happened. So and the crazy thing is at the time, right at the time, it was totally understood, and you can watch the live if it hasn't been taken down, as it was just like a catch gone wrong. But then because of the falling out, they like changed the narrative into like a really creepy narrative and everything, and that's what happened. But at this point, I'm kind of just yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure what's going on. Uh, it's like telling a story. I'm trying to figure out. Hold on. Okay, I don't. Banning people. What's yours? Uh, okay, honestly, I'm genuinely confused actually by the comment section. Oh, yeah. So almost at that point, it wasn't even like a matter of like, you know, getting the evidence. It was literally again like if I broke from the predator, we would have just lost the catch and wouldn't be able to find the guy. It would have been. What are you guys confused? What confused about what? Wait, I don't know. Uh, Yeah, sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to understand. I don't know. I'm like I'm confused. Okay, so I don't know. I'm hearing something about like Chris Roach and what's your story? Like I'm not understanding at all this conversation. Um, yeah. So yeah. Uh, yeah, man. I haven't really seen too much of that show, by the way. Like the what's your story thing. I mean, if he's getting like survivors to talk and everything, and bring discussion to the issue, I think that's a good thing. I just don't know too much about it. Like that's about it. So uh, I'm not sure with this. Yeah, actually, I have a question. Almost like oh, but I saw some I don't know if you want me to talk about it. Just let me know if I don't. If you don't want me to talk about it, but I saw something about. I saw some post about like there were cops and they uh I don't. Do you know the post I'm talking about? Almost. It was a post you said like need help. Yeah, the post you made. I just don't know if like you want me to talk about that at all. I don't know if that's like because I don't know. It did bother me, so I kind of want to talk. I don't know. The homeless issue is like crazy. Just like I don't know that kind of bothers me. The homeless issue, like where they make sometimes they make like in bridges, they'll make things like they have like spikes. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so is it okay to talk about that? That's my question. Is it okay to talk about that? I'm presuming it is because you mentioned it. But yeah, I mean that's crazy. So like it's kind of crazy. Like when you see, yeah, when you see, all right, because it's like it literally seems like they just screw over, you know, just regular people doing everything they can. They're trying to do good, and they screw over them. They'll arrest them. They'll sanction them. They'll break their tents. Even like so what happened was, I guess his living situation was like in a tent with other homeless people, and these cops. So they people are already struggling. These cops break their home, like all they have. So imagine if it was like, your home, you had a home, right? And then someone like, just because of whatever, they just blew it up. Like, you just trying to survive. Oh, we can't have that. But a child molester molesting a kid, if they happen to be caught by a predator catcher or a journalist, then that's good. That's just gonna be allowed and okayed. That's crazy. We live in a messed up world. I don't know. I don't know. If anything, is there like a GoFundMe or something? Like I would totally plug that. Yeah. Do you have a like a GoFundMe or anything? I'm just saying like I don't know how you feel about that, but I would plug that in this chat. I'm just saying if I can help in any way. Yeah. If there's a link, you can post it and then I don't know. I'll try to get the word out or whatever. But I don't know. That's just messed up. Like someone who is already struggling not doing anything wrong, and then they get their home destroyed. Like that's oh yeah, okay, man. Yeah. I don't know, maybe we could help build you one. We'll figure something out. That's crazy. An error. Yeah, it's kind of weird. No one called. Is this phone? Wait. Yeah, no, I mean definitely. We would. I would be happy to like be a part of any kind of like help at all. So I don't know how to. I mean, I'll figure it out, but try to set something up where yeah, get the word out. Like these cops just like destroyed these homeless people's home, and people. I would want to donate to that. Like so I would want to get that word out to as much people as possible because that's messed up. That's just totally messed up. So yeah, like we've talked about that. Uh, you know, yeah. Um. Oh, so the GoFundMe would be for so these cops destroyed homeless people's homes, right? Like their tents, just because I don't even know why. They just destroyed their tents. So then it's like they're like they don't even know what to do. So you know, yeah, but that's what happened. So I don't know if I could, I don't know, like maybe help someone set up a GoFundMe thing, whatever. Be cool. Yeah, I don't know anything about tents at all. I just don't know. But yeah, like you could save up like $150. That's like if you get the word out, like I mean, yeah, it could easily be done. Absolutely. I'm trying to go back in the comments section to see if there's any questions. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, it's kind of like I mean, I think you're kind of. I don't know if you're saying like getting them exposed in of itself like is the biggest crime because the thing is like the biggest thing they worry about. But I mean I think that a lot of that's true. It's just like the way the system kind of works is the way I kind of think of it is I kind of want to make it so that we kind of make it so that we can put the full weight of the law onto them, you know, on the predators, and then expose them. So it's kind of like just kind of working within the system, but it's actually not. There's almost an argument that you know it should just not even be considered that they're even going to take conviction, so just expose them, because then what could happen is like a victim could actually see them, and then they could come forward, because then they'll feel more emboldened to come forward, given they've been exposed, and that could actually lead to a real conviction. So if anything, there's good arguments and bad arguments on both sides of whether to blur it out or not. It's just kind of playing it safe. That's kind of what we're doing now. Oh yeah, WYS stands for what's your story, from what I know. Yeah, it's a thing. That's the thing. It's like they're homeless, right? They're just basically trying to survive, and then they can't get hired. So it's like people would say like get a job. Well, what if they try to get a job every single day, and then they're not given a job. So it's like that's not an understood thing at all. And honestly in this world, anyone could be homeless. Anyone could be homeless. Like we live in a messed up world. It's not like you do everything right, you'll just get ahead. It doesn't work that way. That's fantasy. That's fiction. So, and if anything, it would be the better program if we made it so we had housing and everything, like a baseline level for the homeless, and then the amount they would return in society would measurably it would pay for itself. So it's like, we're definitely handling that issue wrong. Uh, yeah, nah, it's not. I mean, like, I mean, there can be opportunities. There can be opportunities. Um, but the odds are stacked against. The odds are stacked against you. That's true. It's not just like as simple as like if you just do it like sometimes like what if you try to do the right thing, you try to do the right advice, but you're not able to. Like there's no opportunities to. It's like many things. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. Like, yeah, that's true. That's 100% true, right? Maybe like person in third world might be slightly worse off than slightly worse off than a person in America who's homeless. But just because there's something worse doesn't mean that the situation is not horrible. It's not bad. Like just because there's worse doesn't mean it's not really bad. So like comparing it, like why make the comparison? That's bad too, even worse, but doesn't negate the struggles of you know what's going on. And it's not. I mean, it's not an excuse. What it is it's like like you can make you have the luxury of having an excuse when you can say, oh, I'm gonna decide to not do something. That's not an option for almost. It's survival every single day. You know, that's what it is. You know, so it's like there's no ability to make an excuse or to decide to not do something. So there can't be excuses if you're homeless because you're not in a position to make to decide to not do something. You have to do everything you can to survive, or you're literally like gonna die out there. It's like you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to. I don't know. So I'm yeah. I kind of got on a rant. I kind of got on a rant. All right, but yeah. That's kind of another thing. You know, I'm gonna try to see some of the questions. I'm gonna see some of the questions. I don't know. I could go all day on these comment section. No, I'm not trying to be nice. I'm not trying to be nice. It's true. It like no. It's true. And even like unless if someone's been in that position, they would try. Their survival depends on doing everything they can to get out of that situation. Everything they can. Whether in New York City, you kidding me? I mean, that's like you'll die in New York City on the streets like every day. So no, I would not ever say something that I did not mean. I would never say something that I would mean. If there's something that would be an uncomfortable thing to say, I would say it. You know, like 100%. I'm saying I 100% mean what I'm saying. It's just like most people, their only option is literally doing everything they can, and they still don't get to come out of that situation. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah, but Yeah, I'm trying to go back to the other questions. So I answered about the blurring. Yeah, I'll kind of hop off that. I'm gonna put a pause on that topic for a second. I thought there'd be like a couple call-ins by now. I don't know. That's crazy. But yeah. No, okay, okay. Sorry, it's like I'm compulsive, like to responding to that issue. Again, like let's say we're talking about war. There can be a worse thing that doesn't negate something being really bad. It doesn't negate anything. There could be worse. Or like I guess you have terror. I guess terrorists attacking you might be worse than like dying with no resources. I don't know, but yeah, 100%. I don't know. That's. I got all right. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to answer some of the questions that I'm trying to answer. Like I have ADHD, so I'm just gonna see that and I'm gonna have to respond. You know. So okay. Okay. One. Hansen. Something about Chris Hansen. Sorry, I'm just reading this for a second. Um. Oh yeah. Uh. Okay, so I'm gonna say one last thing about the whole thing. Just, um. Yeah, guys, stop arguing. No one's a hypocrite. No one's a rapist. Hold on. Yes, name and face like that. Yeah, we could talk about anything, like almost like any issue. But yeah, anyone can call in. Like anyone can call in. I mean, guys, like can we just like try to get along? I don't know. Can we just like I don't know. I mean, maybe people do have disagreements. It might be a charged issue, but yeah. I mean, I don't want anyone to feel unwelcome here. You know, um, or anything like that. Uh, yeah. I don't know. It's hard. Okay. Yeah. I know. All I can think of is there was one mention of Chris Hansen. You know, I don't know. So mainly, I think he was the closest to doing what we kind of want to see implemented. We were like doing this in a legitimate way. Because what happened was he had the full cooperation of law enforcement, right? They were right there. They had a system set up. And then he did his journalism thing, and then they gathered the information, and then they forwarded on to law enforcement. that's the way we should do this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, have a good day. Um, but like he was like the closest to kind of what. Yeah, okay, sorry. Your modern day Chris, if anyone, is pure journalism. If you get cops on board. Yeah, I mean, in general, that's kind of like what we're trying to do. Is we need to make something where we have a system in place. Generally, it's like we need to have a system in place beforehand, and then have some kind of compliance guideline, some kind of standard measuring if we if we set up, all right, so if you want to get the conviction, if you want to do this, that, and this, all the predator catchers say, well, you have to do it this legitimate way, So then it's just like right now, it's just like an unlitigated disaster. It's just a total mess, and it's like we're literally learning through trial and error after bad things happening, you know. So it's a total mess. Um, is there an important distinction to you viewing yourself as a journalist in the act of catching child predators? That is interesting. Heard others describe themselves as a witness or vigilantes. Well, actually, I think I mean, I've seen very few people call themselves vigilantes. Pretty much every news calls predator catchers vigilantes, even if there's no vigilantism at all. But actually, I mean, I would argue it's not just me. They're all journalists. Like, what are they trying? Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to gather information within their First Amendment rights to forward to the police. And then they're doing a story about it. Even if they're not necessarily considering themselves journalists, the verb, it's like they're doing journalism. That's what it is. So I don't know whether people I know it or refer to it as that. We have to recognize it's a protected class. Journalism, the press. That's what it is. We're all doing that. But what I'm kind of saying is like I kind of want to make the focus particularly on you know saying that we have the right to do it. We have our constitutional rights to do it. You know to that it should be up to the government to make some kind of system beforehand before they're gonna like wag their finger and say no. They should set up a system, and then if we don't follow that system, then they can say whatever they want. But they can't say like they can't. And it's like what infuriates me more is some people almost like threaten like legal action. Some police officers say, well, you're gonna start committing potential you could get potential criminal charges. So what that means is that's a threat. That's a sanction. They're threat that like that's a saying that this is not going to be tolerated. What that means is what's not being tolerated is your constitutional rights to gather information and report it to the public. That's what they're saying is not your right, and you're going to be given a criminal charge for that or try to. There's nothing illegal going on depending on how you do it. I mean, obviously, if you're just going around and it could maybe if there's a fight, then the fight is going to be, the illegal activity. But if you're just doing the story, there's no illegal activity. But I mean, everyone, pretty much everyone, as I can see, is a journalist. They're doing journalism. We kind of just gotta like, kind of just emphasize that more. That we're like a protected class, and we need to be a protected class. You know, it's like we need a system in place beforehand so we can do this just more effectively. We should do it in a way we're going to get more conviction, less politics, less bullshit, and less things going wrong. That's so like that could easily be accomplished. It's like this crazy idea that the DAs think that, oh, I'm gonna discourage vigilantism by not taking their cases. So let me get this straight. So uh they're gonna they're gonna have I don't know, I've been ranting for 50 minutes, but they're gonna have videos, right, that they say are bad, right? They're gonna show all these all these predators, right? And they're saying publicly, these DAs will say, we're not prosecuting them. Anytime real vigilantism has ever occurred throughout history, it's when the rule of law is not enforced. So when they say, hey, that guy, like that crime, that's legal, like they're getting away with it, then something else takes its place. It's like if you were to remove the government, something else is going to take its place. It goes in a vacuum. Then something else would take its place. It could be a tyranny. It could be a dictatorship. Like a corporation could own everyone if there's no government, whatever. It's like whenever there's no rule of law, something else will take its place, and that's the real cause of vigilantism. So they're actually creating vigilantism. Like they're creating vigilantism. The DAs, they're not stopping it. They should think that they should. Well, the best way to look at it is they're going to do this anyway if they choose to. They have the right to. And then what's the best system? And then what do we do next? What's the best system we can put in place to deal with that? Like that's what we should do. um Basura. Is it pronounced Basuda? I always like it says Basura or whatever, but I thought it says Basuda. It's like, is that how it's pronounced? Basuda. Can't be doing this, my guy. You can't be doing this, my guy. Yeah, crazy thing is like he actually caught someone I knew. Like a person I went to high school with, he caught he it was a stinghouse catch. I went to high school with him. Not no not the predator catcher, but the predator. I went to high school with one of the predators that actually it was a stinghouse catch where it was Rami and that other organization that he used to work with. That was actually I actually knew the predator. I saw it and it was like being advertised like all over Facebook, and I was like, I know that guy. That's you know. So yeah, that's like another crazy thing. But yeah, trying to um yeah, I mean as far as Rami goes, I mean I don't know Rami. Like I'm not gonna get into any like the conflicts or whatever, but like what I'm seeing is, like all the antics of like, making the predators do things like I think it made predators eat eggs and all that. Again, it's problematic. Again, like let's say like someone like like a father beats up like a predator, whatever, but as a predator catcher, if they do that, it's like it's problematic. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's problematic. It's not going to get. What should happen is like they should be taken off the streets through our legal system, but it doesn't happen though. You know, but the thing is, you know, the issues I would have at Rami, I actually see all across the board. Like tell me this, right? If we're gonna say the crime of Rami, right, is making the predators do things, right, that would kind of hurt the legitimacy of the case, then how is that different than making someone do jumping jacks? If you know what predator catcher I'm referring to, he would do that. And it's like, and that was like the theme song too, right? Like the I'm sorry. That's the same thing. Tell me what line on principle is different than Rami. So so I don't see just Rami doing the things that I think are problematic. I don't. It's not just Rami. It's not. I'm not gonna say that for a second. You know, it's like anytime you would assert any kind of authority, the definition of vigilanteism is a self-appointed group of people that are essentially asserting authority. That's the definition of vigilanteism. So, you know, we have to move away from that, from even anything close to that narrative, or we're not going to get a case. Like we do all that work, and then all the cases are going to get tossed. It's like you got to be, careful to do it the right way. Um, yeah, I find myself saying it's a serious issue all the time, and I find myself saying I'm just trying to gather information. Gathering information has to be the one. I don't know. I say that all the time. Um, yeah, and it's kind of the same thing too. Sometimes when the predator, when if a police officer were to get aggressive, whatever, that can hurt the legitimacy of the case. Well, let's say they confess in front of the cop, but that there was an like an argument made that was under the fear of threaten and intimidation, then that would just ruin the case. And then so yeah, I mean, it's just like yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I'm not trying to do anything uh violent, because like one is just like all right. So also a major thing is if we ever do a catch, I never want to actually even let people know if there's a catch going on. I'm not going to be like, yo, this person's here to meet a 14-year-old, because what that'll do is we don't know how the predator would react. We don't know how the public would react. It's kind of like yelling fire in a movie theater. It's like, what if some person in the public does something crazy and then that puts the public in danger that didn't ask to be in danger? So it's kind of like you got to think of the whole picture, as far as, doing this, the right way. So it's like, my thing is just in the most maybe discreet way you can, just gather as much information and just study law as much as you can as far as like the criminal elements of the crime, and just get as much as you can. Get the person talking. Don't like try to convince the predator to not be a predator. Guess what? It's not going to work, because it's actually, if you kind of get into the science of it, it's the wiring in their brain. Like they found. I remember I saw a like a neurologist. They found it in the white tissue matter of the brain. So what that means is that's like the wiring. Like where something you see something and then there's a reaction. That's the wiring. You can't fix. You can't like talk a predator. You can't talk someone out of their wiring. you know so that's like the problem, is you have to like that's not going to work. So just gather the information, just like gather the information. That's all you can do. uh yeah, and just as another thing, um so in this sketch, what happened was I went into the predator's car, and I interviewed him. Bad idea, right? And it's the crazy thing is that it was about like maybe like a month ago, kind of a while ago. Took me a while to edit. And the crazy thing, another predator catcher just had something go wrong while doing that. I think she was like pushed out of her car or something. And it's like crazy when you do something and then you see someone else get like hurt because of it. You're like, I did that too. So it's like, again, we have to figure out, if it's not going to be provided by the government right now, we have to learn from each other. We need to have, we like, if let's say like a predator catcher does something that puts themselves in danger, or maybe it's problematic in any kind of way, you know that it literally is the catchphrase. It literally is. I say that it has to be. um Shit, I just forgot what I was talking about. I had a memory lapse. Wow, I was making a point too. If anyone can remind me what I was talking about. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I remember. Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know like what I did in that catch that you just saw was where another predator catch or something did happen, you know? And the next catch after that, the reason why I can't even give the recording is because the fourth one, it resulted in a violent unarmed robbery. It happened it happened you know, and actually I want to say kind of how it happened, like the thought process, where it's kind of like decoying and getting a catch is so hard to do if you've ever tried it, where you know it's like when it happens and you're gonna have like these you're gonna have like these safety rules that make perfect sense beforehand. You're like, yeah, I'm just gonna follow these rules and that's it. I'm not gonna go alone, I'm not gonna go at night, I'm gonna be wary of weapons, whatever. But then you get the catch and it's right there, and then it's almost like you kind of get to this thing where you want to bend those rules, you want to compromise on those rules. And that catch, the catch that was just out, That's exactly what started to happen. Only, nothing happened, but then the next catch, something happened. So the predator actually took off with the phone and everything. What happened was, um, the predator, okay, so actually I want to explain exactly how it happened. So, so it happened like I was on a campus. It was at night. No one knew where I was, right? I went alone. But there was this 911 pole, right? Where it had a surveillance camera, had a button where if something goes wrong, I can just hit it and be like, hey, uh, you know, I need help. So thinking that's like a safeguard, right? So what happened was I started replacing my rules. Were like, hey, you can't waver on those with these dumb safeguards. Another one actually you saw in that catch was I was saying something like, I'm armed when I was not armed. I was not armed. I was just saying I was. Because for whatever reason, that seemed like the thing to do. But that's a bad idea. If anything, you say you're armed, well, I'm armed too. And that it's like all kinds of things can go wrong. So, but what happened with that catch was I started replacing my rules with safeguards, started bending my own rules, right? Saying this 911 pole can protect me, you know? And what happened was I started doing the thing. I'm not like I'm trying to really make sure nothing happens because I didn't know it was bending my own rules, and there was a little bit of nerves going into it. But I was talking. I remember I started doing the interview. It was actually a very young guy. I'm like 26. He was like 21. So it's like it's like crazy. It's like they're that young when they're like predators. And you know, like actually, just as a backstory, here's like what happened. The predator wanted to buy the 14-year-old socks. Like I don't know. It's weird. Like for weird reasons. I don't know. But like he was a freak. That's like the backstory. Like he wanted to buy the 14-year-old socks. Like what the hell? Um, and so what happened was I interviewed him. I was talking about I explained who I was, nonviolent citizens against predators, the thing. And what happens is he asks like a question that was kind of startling a little bit because like he said something like, "I want to see why you're recording the phone, like on my phone that's recording. I want to see why you're recording." I explained I was recording, but he said something like, "I want to see why you're recording." But if you see the phone, you're not going to see why I was recording. You just see that I was recording, right? So what happened was like I kind of show him like, yeah, it's recording, and then he kind of grabs for it, and right when I pulled away, he just like attacked me to the ground. And, like I didn't see it coming, and then he got the phone and he ran. Like what happened was I fell really hard on my hip, so I kind of was a little banged up. I had to recover, and he bolted like Usain Bolt. And guess what? That 911 pole, right? I hit the button, it didn't work, and then we find out later on, like after and everything, the surveillance camera didn't work. So I thought like, oh yeah, it was right there. We're gonna definitely get the guy. Didn't work. Didn't work. And this crazy thing is, I guess it looked like when the cops got there. I guess it maybe because like it looked like a sketchy situation or something. I'm not really sure, but they said like after I'm like almost kind of bleeding a little bit, like banged up. Lost my phone. I call 911, right? You know, he said something like oh, by the way, I wasn't injured or anything. I was just banged up. If anything, it was kind of like equivalent to falling down a stairs, where it's like you kind of just like eat shit and then you get back up though. You're kind of banged up. It sucks, but it wasn't like I was not injured or anything, and I didn't lose any money. And the phone has been recovered. It's actually on a warranty. It's actually this phone. It's already been recovered. Um, but he says the police officer said something um like you need to know we're gonna investigate, like as if like I wouldn't want an investigation. And I'm like, yeah, I called 911. Like I got attacked and robbed. Like I would hope that you're investigating. Says something, you gotta know this is a very serious crime. Like you gotta know we're gonna be investigating. Like kind of saying as if like hope you don't have anything to hide. I'm like, I don't have anything to hide. I got attacked and robbed. Like I hope you would investigate. Like Like, the hell? That doesn't make any sense. I called you. So, and yeah, and then, you know, trying to investigate, I was trying to find the guy through just like whatever way I could. And the crazy thing is, I ended up finding the profile again, and I was gonna make it so that I could get that person, right, to meet at a location, not committing a crime, but to I try to make like some other decoy account, but like it would be a person of age, just to meet at a location, right? And then I could say that's the guy, that's definitely guy, because he had like the same profile picture and everything, and it was him. So I was like, if I can just get the guy there, and then I could just have the police there, you could just identify the guy, and then he would have been, he would have had to give a statement or whatever. He would have been identified. But then they said, "Oh no, we're not going to send someone out, so just don't do it," like something like that. I don't know. So it just, I don't know. That kind of just sucked. But yeah, that's what happened. But it's like, again, the main thing going back is this thing where bending your own rules. Like, don't bend your own rules. Don't let a catch make you bend your own rules, because that can, I've seen it turn into a disaster. Um, Try to go back. Yeah, I can't believe no one called in. I'm just going back. Yeah, because the questions are flying before. Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm trying to answer every question there is to answer. Let's see. I don't know. I'm almost at the end. I think I've answered everything that could possibly be answered. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I was saying, like, I thought there'd be at least like one call or something. I mean, no one has to call, but it's like, I thought, I don't know. But yeah, so going into the, uh, um, oh, that's a good question. So because like, so the answer is no, because I think that could be looked at as even work. It's literally like, I don't want anything to be like, if I think there is something going on with law enforcement where they're actually doing something, I'll like say, all right, all we're gonna do is just gather information and give it to them, and then put out like, a blurred out or negative out story, and that's it. But at the time, like, no, because like that could be looked at as like, what you'd have to answer to is, you could be questioned about that by the defense attorney. So saying like, so like you talk to the family, whatever, and it'll kind of make it seem like the way lawyers can spin things, they can make it seem like, even you have like nefarious motives or something. Like, why are you talking to the family, whatever? And it's just like, I didn't want to get into that, so all I do is I literally just gather as much information, send to law enforcement, and then just try to do the story. But none of, but if let's say but here's a waiver on that. There's an exception to the rule where let's say it's one of those DAs where they publicly said we're going to allow child molestation, we're going to allow online predators to happen. Then I don't feel I'm ruining an investigation. You know, I don't have to do any of that. So if there's a situation, right, where, you know, they're saying we're not going to take this case, then I'm going to unblur it and I'm going to probably put a first and last name, anything that's legal. So if it's communicated to me that there's going to be no investigation, I'm going to do everything I can do legally, to expose them. So that's the thing. So there's a waiver on that. But if I feel there is some kind of investigation going on, or I know there is, then I'm gonna kind of let that do its thing. But if that's not happening, then get them exposed. Yeah. Yeah, and I kind of just feel like it could look bad in court. It's like all about court pretty much because it's such a point system where it's like, oh, you did this thing where technically it would be like an impropriety or whatever, and then or maybe were you using like a threat kind of to make them do that or whatever, and it's just like all kinds of things. And yeah, I just didn't want to get into that. It's a new comment. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, as far as like if you it depends how you do it. It's like as long as you're doing it where you're not asserting any kind of authority, you're making it very clear. I could see that, and that's probably something that could happen. But I'm just saying we're not gonna make a condition where it's like do that or we're calling the police. Because I think that would be problematic. But just saying that, making it not connected to anything, like yeah, you should tell someone about that. You should let certain people know. You should do something about that. You should tell this person, that person. So yeah, as long as you're not doing it in a problematic way like that, where you're kind of making like a what's it called, a quid pro quo, like a condition set to it, where it's like do that or the police, then and you're just kind of like saying making a suggestion to do that, then I can definitely see doing that. I don't see how there's nothing wrong with giving someone a suggestion or advice like to tell uh, or send the video to the family or anything like that. But yeah, um, yeah, and also that's why I don't think it's a good idea for like predator catchers or anything like that to go on the news, like the news, like the big news, because like every single time they do that, they just rip them apart, call them vigilantes, and then just say, oh, these people are disturbances. So that always pissed me off. Every time I see the news and I see like vigilantes and saying that oh they're doing more harm than good and all this stuff, then put a system in place. I don't know that is just like the biggest thing that irks me. You know, at the end of the confrontation, hmm, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, why would it matter that it would be at the end of it? I guess I don't know. All right. I'm gonna try to. Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. You can't make them do anything. Like saying, it's like making it connected to any kind of like anything like that could hurt the case. Like that's the thing, you know. Like so that's the thing. Like, yeah, you have to when we do it, we make we even repeat this a lot. Like I have no authority over you and everything. And something we say a lot is uh it's like this keyword obligation. It's like obligation. It's yeah, I'm talking forever, so it's understandable. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. But it's like what I say is I'm not saying like this or the police or anything like that, but I'm saying that as a journalist, my role is I'm obligated. I have civic and moral obligations to, report this to the authorities if there isn't some kind of explanation or some resolution because, there's almost an argument that we could be liable, you know? So I kind of say that to the predator, which is it's actually true, but but stating it like that just makes it so that we're basically doing a story here, and and being kind of it's like if you see someone, if you'll say you have a job, right, and then you see like an employee doing something like that could hurt someone or whatever, you have an obligation, however you would cut it, to like report that unless it's resolved there. So we kind of say it like that, where there really isn't any argument that we were saying, oh, do this or the police, do this or the police, So I feel like that would just have like the strongest argument in court. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I run out of things to talk about. Yeah. What if there's any comments? No. I'm trying to think. Okay. Oh, Steam Watches. Steam Watches is here. Oh yeah, if you're driving, I'll be on for longer. So um, people monetize off of victims, like so the predator catchers, you mean? I think some do. Where it's kind of like I would feel like it's kind of like I would feel horrible like making money from this for that reason, even though it's kind of an argument where if you're doing a good thing, like if you're doing a good thing, like in any kind of profession, you get paid for it, and then you're still doing a good thing. Like let's say an officer like saves a person who's about to like fall off a bridge or something, whatever. They're still gonna get their paycheck, so it's not like wrong, you know. But it's like with this thing, it's kind of like a weird thing where it's like I don't know. So I kind of I'm trying to not connect it with any kind of money or whatever. But yeah, but some do though. I mean, some I'm not gonna name names, but like some people will try to make it more about like because like because the thing is like everyone needs money, and they're gonna kind of connect it to some kind of you know some kind of financial goal. All right, so hit zero, use. Yeah, I don't know. I just okay. So yeah, so just like one thing I'm gonna end it off, and there's literally zero views, so I'm talking to myself. Um, yeah, I felt bad about homeless in America. Like his situation and everything. He made a post like, "Who will hire me? No clean clothes or shower in 2 months. Let me know. Sick of people saying it's an excuse. You're an idiot if you think that. Someone will hire a homeless person." Yeah, it's just like no one will hire them. That's the issue. It's not that they're like someone who's homeless does not have the luxury of making an excuse and not and deciding to not do something. Like they're just trying to survive, you know. Um. Oh yeah, Steen, I sent you a Discord DM. I'm not really. I'm kind of new at Discord. I don't know if it worked, but I sent you like a DM on Discord if you wanted to like talk about the catch. Any articles? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I'm crazy busy too. I literally was like working around the clock trying to you know, like doing editing and then yeah, I'm busy too. I can't mod on here. So apparently if I'm on StreamYard, I can't mod. There's like no way I can like I guess it's like a function like I can't like press the button or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know what a mod is. I don't even get it. Like you can ban people. Okay. I don't know. I don't get it. Honestly, when I first saw it was a mod, I didn't even know what a mod was. Um, you know, I think like Alex made me a mod or something, and I thought it was a YouTube feature. So I was like, "What's this show hide thing?" And I was like messing things up. I I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh wow, in Kentucky, I didn't see it. Oh, so did you post any video recently? Yeah, anyone? I don't know. We have like 2 views. I would pretend it has like a million views or anything, but anyone should definitely check out Steve Vouch's channel. Covers a lot of important stories, definitely on the issue. I'll check out. I'll check. Oh, hold on. Stolen babies? What? It's like well, it's like so there's people that go after like teenagers, like 14 or 15-year-olds, and then worse, there's like people that go after like 7-year-olds, 9-year-olds, whatever, and there's people that go after babies. What? What the fuck? What's we just need to be humans need to be hit by a comet and need to evolve to something else. That's my conclusion. That's what has to happen. Like, you know, like the dinosaurs had their run, we had a run. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, I think you can send links here. I don't know if oh yeah, I probably could just Google it, but I don't know. Black market exposed as sold babies. That was part of a year-long investigation by a civilian. Oh, so that's the crazy. So it's almost kind of like this, where it wasn't even like some detective found that cracked the case. It was like a civilian. It was a journalist. So like the thing is, I think that the key to the solution of this issue is civilian intervention, whether it's journalists doing stories, but then it would have to be, civilians doing remote decoying and then police officers showing up to this thing. I talked about that before, but it's civilian intervention. There's not enough cops to go around on this issue. The cops can be perfect, and there's not enough to go around. It's the problem does not match the scale, so we have to innovate to match the scale. We need civilian intervention, and it's like we don't have to force civilians into dangerous situations. We can just guide them and surveil them and have a system in place that could easily be done. What catcher do you think? I don't know. I mean, whoever is, like, you never know who is or isn't, or how you would do that. It sounds like a very complicated thing to do. Like, how would you? I don't know. I guess you would have to do it where you're like kind of do it almost like undercover, where you're pretending like I guess you're a part of whatever, and then you find it. Then they you gain their trust a little bit. Then they start telling you certain things, and then it's kind of like an avalanche effect where you just get more information, you can connect more dots, and then all of a sudden you have this huge case of fucking of selling babies. What the like what? I don't even know. That's crazy. It's like I don't even I have to like I don't even want to think about yo. Oh yeah, I forgot you're driving. Yeah, don't I will Google it. Yeah, don't yeah, drive safe. But yeah, I mean I probably would actually I could probably just find it here. One. Um I'm looking. That's crazy. My Googling skills aren't that good. I Google Kentucky baby trafficking human. Say Kentucky, right? Maybe I'll put in black market. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I'll find it. But yeah, that's crazy. Like it's like human trafficking is like one thing, and then there's even people that are like pedophiles and they do that too. But then babies, like they're selling baby, like that's crazy. I don't know. Um. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna wrap up here. Um if how how long are you gonna be driving for? I probably stay on for like 20 minutes or something. I don't know. I figured out. Trying to look for questions. Yeah, yeah, we can. This later. Yeah, and I think you can. I mean, I think you can even come on the StreamYard thing. Oh, through Discord too. Yeah, that works. Yeah, we set them up. I'll be here. Yeah, yeah. So we could work that out. For now, I don't think I think I'm gonna wrap up though right now. Yeah, I mean, I've been literally ranting for almost 2 hours. So like I don't know I don't know if you can do on that. So I don't know. So but yeah, um, yeah. If I ran, I could like ran for like 6 hours. I don't even know. It's like a mental illness or something. I don't know. But I think I think yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. Yeah, I go and tell for days. I go and tell. Do a promo. Um, yeah, I wish there was more people here. I put up the phone number. We like think there would be calls. There would be like no calls. Someone could even call us restricted. Like I don't know. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get it out. Is there anyone else live or doing a catch or something? What happened to catch number two? Hmm. Do you mean the really, really long catch? That was like the 3.5 hour catch? Because that was the second one. I'm just not sure if that's the one you're referring to. Because the first one is, I mean, it was the actual first one. It was like very quick. It was like under a minute. It was actually a failed catch. I was like in decoy mode, and the guy just drove off. That was technically the first catch. The second catch was a 3.5 hour catch. The third catch was the one that just came out, and the fourth one wasn't able to be recorded because it turned into a robbery. But yeah, so I just want to make sure what catch you're referring to. It's yeah, but essentially that one is going to an arraignment where No, I mean, I can't. I don't know, but like, I think that's gonna be a situation where I think everything that I mean, I've been told that everything that can be done is being done. And it's kind of yeah, on a catch, it went wrong. That's the thing. I'm making a PSA video, uh, you know, of like what kind of led me to bending my own rules and like to not do that. I'm putting that out. I'm trying to put it out tomorrow, I think. But yeah, it happened on a catch, and I went alone. It's a bad move. It's kind of like when predator catchers they have a catch, they're gonna want to bend their own rules to do the catch, and that's exactly what I did, and that's what happened. I mean, nothing was. I didn't lose any money or anything, by the way. It was just the phone. No, no. So yeah, so it was just. It was actually just the phone. Um, which I literally got recovered right here. Um, it was not the phone, but it's all through insurance and everything. There was no money involved. Like all my money and everything was like in my car and everything. So it was just it was just the phone because he wanted it to be deleted or whatever. But and I got the phone back, so I didn't lose any like assets or money or anything. But it just was it could have been worse. He could have had a gun. It could have been like So again, like I kind of want to make it so that we can all kind of learn from each other's like mistakes and everything, so we can prevent things from happening. It was like what some I think that when a predator catcher has something happen, they should explain exactly what led up to it, like the exact thought process and everything, so that someone else about to go down that same path won't go down that path because they saw that video or whatever, or that predator catcher saying that thing. So yeah. Um. Yeah, I literally think if I don't end the live soon, I'm gonna just like talk to myself for 7 hours. You know. So I think I have to. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of end it off here. A lot of good questions. You know, we have questions, we have answers. Yeah. Oh, it's like every time I'm about to go, it's like there's a question. I don't know. It's like I could answer questions all day. What did the police say about Andrew? Was he a dick? So they didn't explain anything like that about any kind of interaction with the police and that guy. Like that's not what they tell you. But yeah, he was. I mean, he was like he had like no remorse, right? Yeah, he had like no remorse at all. And um, yeah, let me know anytime. Like again, the thing is of that case, it was like it was it drained all of our equipment and all of the energy that we had just to do that catch. Like literally from like 5 p.m. I think the catch was to the very end of when I like went to sleep. That's how long the catch was. It was like the entire day. So it was much information as we could possibly ask for, like in terms of evidence, in terms of like information that could be used, to make a case. We got, and it was just like so much where it was the entire day. It was like you can't really get more than that, where it's like literally the entire day, the entire time you're awake in one sitting. That like it was the amount of the file, the flash drive was 30 gigs. It was a 30 gigs. I had to get like a special flash drive for that. But it was 30 gigs, and that was that like the 3.5 hour that was cut down, and that's actually just including just the catch up until on. So the actual amount of interviewing is probably pushing like 5 hours or something. It's probably more. Remember, like, my associate says something like, tell him like we call the cops already or something like that, because it's like it was never ending. Yeah, yeah. Now it's 5 people. How would I? How does one end a? How does one end a stream? No. But yeah, it was a dick. Yeah, it took it took a lot. It took stamina, like just it's like a filibuster, like where there'll be like senators and they'll like lobby against a bill for 6 hours, and it doesn't really matter what you're saying, but sometimes they can get like a bill thrown out just for just talking. It was just like, yeah, it was, yeah, and he just went in circles the entire time, like circles. It's like he literally said he knew it could have been the cops that he was gonna that that's what that was gonna become of it. They all say that I knew it was a sting. It wasn't a sting. We can't do a sting. Here's the thing. When I say that, like most likely, the scenario would be it would be cops and they're doing a sting. In a very rare situation, it would be like journalists doing a story. Like that would I'm just saying that most likely it would be a situation where it would just be the cops. But it's like he was saying, "Oh, I knew it was a setup." So like, why would they go to a setup? Like, I want to say to all the predators, like, why would you walk into a setup? And like I said, it's confusing to me. Like, why would you walk into a setup? But they just say it's like I knew it was gonna happen. So are you trying to make friends with like cops and then get a silver bracelet too? Like, what do you mean? I don't get it. Why would someone show up to a sting? Like, yeah, it's like I know that sting. I'm gonna buy that drug over there. You know, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, as much as they're gonna talk, let them talk. That's the thing. Let them talk. Like, the more they talk, there's the more information you have. Even if they're repeating things, it's more information. That can be used. Okay, going to end the stream.